guys. This is going to be a little special introduction because I haven't been able to do this in a while. A lot of you know what we went through when we found out that Eaglemoss was closed, and it sucked. It ripped my heart out because I was just about 60% into the Enterprise D build, and it all happened. It just crumbled. Everything went away. You couldn't get it anymore, and I was worried that I was going to have a very heavy paperweight. But I'm very, very happy to announce that I got the newest. Well, actually, it was FanHome that picked up where Eaglemoss left off, and I actually have the latest delivery, and I was able to pick up right where I had left off. So, and also I want to give a shout out to a friend of mine, Ian, if you're watching. This is the Scottish Trekkie, and it was great talking to you, buddy. And if you love Eaglemoss or you want to learn about Eaglemoss, you got to check out his channel, the Scottish Trekkie. He's the king of Eaglemoss. This guy is like an expert on Eaglemoss things. But without further ado, I want to show you guys the latest package for the build, the USS Enterprise NCC 1701D. Greetings once again, my fellow Star Trek fans. I'd like to welcome you to another video. And this video is very special. You may notice that I have the Enterprise, the USS Enterprise NCC 1701D. And we had started the project, geez, it's been seems like forever, but probably a little about maybe a year and a couple of months. And you can see how far we've gotten. You can see the nacelle is totally finished. This one is anyway. And the battle bridge area and the neck looking pretty good. And the last shipment I had gotten before Eaglemoss went out of business was we were working on the secondary hull, and we had gotten a circuit board for the bottom of the secondary hull. You can see the top of the primary hull. Well, this is the bottom. The top is actually finished. We've got 3 circuit boards in there, and you can see all the issues that we had gotten. Well, my friends, after what seems like an eternity, the wait is finally over. FanHome has taken over for Eaglemoss, and when I signed up, I told them the issues that I was left off at, and supposedly we're going to pick up where we left off. So let's go over to the desk and open this fantastic box. Okay, like I said, it seems like I've been waiting for this for forever. It's been a while, and I'm finally able to bring you guys the latest installment of the FanHome build, the USS Enterprise. Let's see what we got over here. Issue 21. I hope they got the right one. So you can see the issue 21, or shipment 21. That was $55. And we'll see if we get the right one. Hopefully, this is where we're going to pick up from the build. Alright, let's go inside. You can see we got the packing material, and oh my goodness, it's so nice to be able to pick up where we left off. This is the issue 21 of the Star Trek The Next Generation, and I'm going to go through the contents, and then we'll go through them a little more thoroughly, but I just want to show you really quick what's in it. We've got issue 82. Issue 81. And look, we got another section of the secondary hull. Love it. This is issue number 80. And this looks like issue number 79. So we got 79, 80, 81, and 82, and that's everything in the box. Now, why don't we go through the magazine first, and then we'll go through the parts. It's been a long time since I've been able to bring this for you guys, and you can see now It's not Eaglemoss anymore. Officially, it's FanHome. Love it. Alright, let's check the book out. And I love it. You can see in this issue we have the facts about the Next Generation episodes. Guys, I can't tell you how happy I am to be doing this again. I was so upset when Eaglemoss went under. I thought that the whole thing that we have been doing is just going to be useless. And I absolutely can't wait to continue this. So this is what the parts list looks like in stage 79. You can see we've got a piece of the outer hull, or the saucer section, and we've got some more escape pods. And if you guys have been following my build, it seems like escape pods and windows are all we've been putting in. The Enterprise has a lot. And you can see this is going to be a cover for one of the screws. And we have the cable. This one has the two alligator clips at the end, and the one with the, looks like 4 clips. And you can see the parts list. So stage 80, we got the more of the same. You can see where the escape pods are going to go, and we're going to have more of the outer saucer section. And you can see the escape pods, and we have the, looks like another section of the secondary hull. Looks like the midsection towards the aft end. And you can see the parts list. Moving on to stage 81. If you've been following my build with this, you know that this is really familiar because it seems like we've had 1,000 of these. The pie wedge frames that put the primary hull together. So we have that, and it looks like we have, I'm not sure if those are going to be windows. There's not that much in stage 81. You can see a couple of wires for the circuit board, and you can see the parts list. On to stage 82. You can see another section of the primary hull, and you can see, because it's the bottom, you can see where the windows are going to go, as well as the escape pods. And it looks like a phaser array. And we have more windows. I think that's going to be for the secondary hull. And again, you can see the parts list. All right, now moving on to the assembly. Stage 79, you can see we're going to be working on this section of the bottom of the primary hull. And you can see all of the escape pods that we're going to put in the backing. And then we're going to put the outer rim on. So this one is going to be relatively simple because there's no lights or anything to put in with this one as of yet. And we're also going to be working on the secondary hull, excuse me. So on to step B, it looks like we're putting it in. You can see where the screws are going to go, and that's what that little cap was for. I had told you about. We're going to hide the screw. This issue comes with 2 different types of escape pod covers. You only use the screw cover kind once. You are happy with the fit of the deck panels and do not wish to adjust the screws any further. And that's one issue that I've been having with mine, is trying to get all the panels to line up evenly. Mine hasn't. Moving on to step C, you can see how we're going to put a panel in. Retrieve your battle section from panel 75F, last used in stage 78, and again, that was over a year ago. And I think we had done this half when we had just towards the end of Eaglemoss. And you can see we're going to put this section on with the lights in it, and we're going to put in the BP screws. It's going to hold everything in place. And nice, look, we're going to start to build up that frame. Looks like that's going to go on the bottom. You can see the circuit board, and we're going to put the lights in for the windows on the circuit board. Stage 80 assembly now. We're going to be doing more work on the primary hull underneath. and more escape pods. And you can see the backing that's going to hold the escape pods in place, and we're going to put the outer rim of the saucer section. Note, keep the battle section middle panel 80F supplied with your stage 80 parts close at hand for the next stage. And you can see we're going to put it on to the bottom of the primary hull. And we're going to put the escape pod that's going to hide the screw. Another build tip: each LED light has a moldable casing between the bulb and the cable so that the wires can be directed away from screws and other obstacles. Always handle these elements with care. And now we're on to stage 81 assembly, and you can see the sections we're going to be working on underneath and on the secondary hull. And you can see we take the panel light 81E and carefully bend the rubber bulb casing as shown because of the section it's going to go in. And you can see how it's going to go right near the screw. And the screw is actually going to hold it in. Then slot the bulb into the recess in the lower skeleton too, and thread the cables through the skeleton and secure the bulb using the LED bracket 81D and an AM screw. Once that's on, we move on to step B, and you can see everything that's in yellow is what we're working on. Retrieve your main saucer build and position the lower skeleton as shown, sliding its right corner underneath the lower skeleton. I had forgotten about that, how we kind of put it underneath to secure it. And the whole section that we get it into place, and then we're going to put the screws in, and that's going to be BM screws, quite a few, and they're also going to be FM screws. Then secure the skeleton to the larger structure using 8 BM screws, 4 FM screws, and a single AM screw. And the AM screw is what's going to hold the previous section down with this one. And plug the deck panel light and the lower skeleton into the nearest available B socket on the saucer PCB board after threading it through the skeletal supports as shown. So you can see it's going to go into this one because we have 3 of them in there. There's one that's been kind of buried underneath the panels. On the step D, you can see that locate the battle section middle panel supplied with your stage 80 parts, then carefully press the window panel into the place with orientation as shown. Let's see, position the remaining panel over the peg of the window, panel cover with the window panel reflector. Secure the assembly with 2 DP screws. You can see how that's going to go on. And one of my favorite parts was always to test the lights. Test that the lights are working correctly by briefly plugging into the vacant B socket on the saucer PCB 357B and flipping the saucer switch to the on position. Stage 81 is now complete. So now we're going to move on to the stage 82 assembly, and we're going to go to another section of the bottom of the saucer section. And you can see the work that we're going to be doing on the secondary hull. And step A is, you can see the window openings, and you can see the escape pods where they're going to go. And we're going to put the window section in over there. And I'm not sure if it's going to be clear or if they're going to be dark. They're probably going to be clear, but some of the ship's windows are dark, stating that they're off. But we'll find out when we go through the packets. Orient the deck panel windows and carefully press the piece into the matching recess on the deck panel. And that's going to be held in place with a DM screw. And now you can see the phaser array that we're going to be putting on that piece, and that's going to be held in place from the underneath with the DP screws. Now we take the battle section middle window left, 82H, and line it up with the battle section middle panel, 80F, as shown. Then carefully press it into position. It will be secured later on. This completes stage 82. And those are the instructions. So I love going into the episode tidbits and the information, the behind the scenes. You can see Building Bridges, Star Trek, The Next Generation Season 5, which went from 1991 to 1992. You can see the picture of the bridge crew. Guinan's not on the bridge crew, or neither is Dr. Crusher, but you know what I mean. They're on the bridge. We got Commander Riker, Mr. Data, Guinan, Geordi, Mr. Worf, Counselor Troy, Captain Picard, and Dr. Crusher. Looking over, you can see Lo Lauren. Michelle Forbes has auditioned for several Star Trek The Next Generation roles before she was cast as Timothon's daughter, Dara, Season 4's Half a Life. She impressed us tremendously, said David Livingston. For whatever reason, we didn't cast her in the other episodes, and I'm really glad we didn't, because if we had, we might have prevented her from being Ensign Ro. Make now always the most precious time. Jean-Luc Picard living as a Catanian. And you can take a look at Redemption, Part 2. Now the whole thing with the Romulan that looks like Tasha Yar, it's a little complicated. You know, that could be a whole video into itself. But when the Enterprise C went forward into time in yesterday's Enterprise, Tasha Yar was in that timeline, and she was told that her death was going to have little meaning. She ended up going back with the Enterprise C, and that's a result of what happened where this person, Tasha Yar's daughter, and it's a long story. Like I said, that could be an episode unto itself. But this is Redemption, Part 2, Episode 5.1, and it premiered September 23rd of 1991. Written by Ronald D. Moore, directed by David Carlson. And we got Denise Crosby as Sela. The Federation fleet sets out to expose Romulan interference in the Klingon Civil War. Like other members of the Sutherland Bridge crew, Christopher Hobson is named one of Ro Moore's real-life nearest and dearest. And that's a really awesome shot. Visual FX supervisor, Dan Curry, vibrated dry oatmeal on a tabletop to create the volatile surface of the sun as seen as the episode and teaser sequence. Wow, that's pretty wild. You'd never know that. Everything in me that was human died the day with my mother. Sela explains her backstory to Picard. I love when they have the illustrations. For its appearance in the as the USS Sutherland in Redemption 2, the Nebula class filming model was redesigned by senior illustrator and technical consultant Rick Sternbach. Instead of the disc-shaped pod it had carried in Season 4, it now had been equipped with an arrowhead module supported by a single pylon. This is one of my favorite episodes. I love this one. Captain Picard and the other captain get beamed down to a ship, and they're kind of forced to communicate with each other. He speaks English, but their words, the meanings are totally different. And all I can remember is at Tanagra and some of the things that he would say. And the walls fell. When things went bad, he would say, and the walls fell. And this is episode 5.2. This is titled Darmok. Premiered September 30th of 1991. Story by Philip Lezebnik and Joe Menosky. Teleplay by Joe Menosky. Directed by Winrich Colby. The guest stars Paul Winfield as Dathon, and if that sounds familiar, he was Captain Tyrrell in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, the captain of the USS Reliant. In order to survive a hostile environment, Captain Picard must learn to understand an alien captain who speaks only in metaphors. And that was really, this is one of my favorite episodes. Richard Allen previously appeared as Kentor in Season 3's The Ensign of Command. And I love the behind-the-scenes photographs. On location, the cast and crew alike were advised to dress appropriately for bees, rattlesnakes, and a hot sun. And the walls fell. Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra. Darmok and Jalad on the ocean. Captains Dathon and Picard at El Adrel. Because this episode, I like it because it really makes you think. I love the thought-provoking episodes where you're trying to understand what the man is saying. Well, the captain is saying. In his Dathon makeup, Paul Winfield is unrecognizable as Captain Tyrrell from Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, from 1982, which Colby claimed never to have seen the actor out of makeup during the shoot. And we have some more sketches. Some of Rick Sternbach's concept art for the Type 6 shuttlecraft is first seen in Darmok. Sternbach first proposed the new prop in 1990 as a companion to the smaller Type 9 shuttle pod and a replacement for the Type 7 shuttlecraft, which existed as only a partial-size mock-up in a separate interior set, neither of which perfectly matched the miniature version. The Type 6 went on to appear in 14 episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation, as well as other Star Trek series. Let's see. Darmok is the first episode to feature a new casual uniform for Captain Picard. It is the only time that the jacket is seen to have a leather effect shoulders, and from Ensign Rowe onwards the entire garment is made from suede-like fabrics. The new look was conceived from Patrick Stewart's request to help set the captain apart from his crew. And looks like we have a map. I love things like that. Crew members were provided with the map to the Bronson Canyon. Note that the location here labeled as Bronson Caves is just short distance from the famous Hollywood sign, included on the map as a reference point. Sokath, his eyes open, Captain Darthon. And looks like we're going to move on to the episode Ensign Rowe. Now you can see the, let's see, Captain Picard, Ensign Rowe is right there. We got Mr. Data and Mr. Worf. Episode 5.3 premiered October 7th, 1991. The story by Rick Berman and Michael Piller. Michelle Forbes as Ro Laren. A disgraced Bajoran ensign is assigned to the Enterprise to help track down a suspected Bajoran terrorist. Ensign Rowe is Ken Thorley's first appearance as Bolian Barber, Mr. Mott. He is seen in just one more episode, but referenced in several others. Patrick Stewart and Michelle Forbes on location. There are other Bajorans in Starfleet. Assign one of them. Captain Picard's initial reaction to serving alongside Ensign Rowe. And we've got another illustration. Perspective sketch of the Bajoran camp location by senior illustrator and technical consultant Rick Sternbach. And now we move on to Silicon Avatar. Silicon Avatar, episode 5.4, premiered on October 14th of 1991. One of Star Trek The Next Generation's earliest adversaries makes an unexpected comeback in the show's first take on Moby Dick. The Enterprise pursues the deadly Silicon entity in the company of an expert who is determined to punish it for the death of her son. Guest actor Susan Diol later played a Vidian in 2 installments of Star Trek Voyager. Cute. We got another sketch out here. Let's see. What is this? Identify. This hand-drawn map directed cast and crew to Golden Oaks Ranch, also widely known as the Disney Ranch. Why are we pursuing the entity if not to destroy it? Dr. Keela Marr. She was so full of revenge. And at the end, all she cares about is vengeance for the death of her son. Okay, now we move on to the episode Disaster. I don't know if you guys remember this. They're stuck in the turbo lift. Captain Picard Day. This is episode 5.5, premiered on October 21st, 1999. Story by Ron Jarvis and Philip Scorza. And we've got a collision knocks out many of the Enterprise's systems, leaving the crew trapped and forced varied challenges in different parts of the ship. The captain was in the turbo lift. Ro returns and another recurring character is introduced in Star Trek The Next Generation take on a familiar movie formula. For the cargo bay depressurization scene, visual FX supervisor Dan Curry fixed miniature drums to a vertical model of the bay floor and filmed them dropping onto a green screen below. That's brilliant. Because you remember Dr. Crusher and Geordi had to depressurize and blow out everything before they could close the doors and repressurize it. That was to put out the fires. That was pretty cool. This is not a good time, Kiko. Worf, in midlife mode. Let me put it in a Worf voice. This is not a good time, Kiko. In the original take, the reverse of the plaque presented to Captain Picard by the children is far more colorful. In the final edit, close-ups of the much plainer black section were inserted in place of young Patterson's Supra's artwork. Let's see. Dan Curry's unused concept for the effect showing Geordi and Beverly being sucked towards the open cargo bay doors. That they were able to hang on. Is that everything? And it looks like that's everything. And we've got Star Trek The Next Generation, that beautiful picture of the model. FanHome. All right, let's get the pieces out. Again, I'm just ecstatic to be doing this again. And that is issue 79. Okay, the bottom compartment. What do we got? We've got screws. I mean, this thing is, this model, it'd be amazing to count the number of screws that this thing is made out of. Everything seems to have a screw. We got BP and IM screws. And the metal parts, you guys remember from my last videos, the metal parts always come in like a plastic tray. And you can see the Aztecing of the ship. And all the escape pods are are going to go in there, and that's the one that's going to hide the screw. Let's see, we've got the panel. I believe this is going to be to reflect the light on the sides of the secondary hull. And we've got the lights that are going to go in it. Again, it's been a while, but the lights get held in place in these little indentations like that. Let's see, this looks like, we don't want to lose this. This is the cover for the screw, the escape pod. We've got more screws. We got DP screws. And we've got 2 trees of the escape pods. And we actually have we have like a tool chest to put all the extras in. And all the extra ones I had put into the little compartments. But let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We got 11 of these. All right, and what else we got? We got more screws. We have AM screws, FM screws, and this looks like the panel that's going to hold all of the escape pods in place, and you can see it's going to go like that. And when that goes in, that's going to hold everything in place to keep them from falling out. And it looks like lastly, we have the outer part of the saucer section. That's going to go all the way around. And that is everything that was in issue number 79. Okay, let's move on to issue number 80. Get you right away is the bottom, so let's check this out. Look at that. And this is the back section right here. You can see the battle, or the dorsal hull is going to come into this section. You know, it's funny, I never even noticed that there were windows on the side of that. In the back. The impulse engines. And you can see the lights, well, excuse me, the windows. And again, I love the Aztecing. Okay, what's in the next one? Looks like we have the next section of the pie plate. First, we've got, that's right, we've got more screws. We've got AM. And we've got IM. The IM screws tend to be more of the smaller ones with the wider head to hold everything in place better. And again, this is metal because they put it in a plastic tray. You can see where the cap is going to go to hide the screw, and hopefully you guys can see the Aztecing. Nice. All right. What else we got? Looks like we got more of the escape pods. But first we have, looks like, FM screws. And we've got two more sections. Looks like we got 10 of them, of the escape pods. And on the bottom, we have the one for the screw. It's going to hide the screw. And lastly, let's see, these sections, this is the one that's the plate that's going to hold everything in place. You can see it's going to go like this. think it's for this. Yeah, alright, sorry about that. And these are going to hold all of the escape pods in place. And lastly, we've got another section of the outer rim of the saucer section. And that's everything that's in issue number 80. Okay, moving on to issue number 81. And again, those of you following the build, we know about all of the screws as well as that pie plate. But let's check out this. We've got FM screws, and we got the DP screws. And that, again, this is metal because it's in the plastic tray, you know. It's very strong. So this is another section that's going to go on the bottom of the primary hull. Nice. Let's see. Looks like we've got some electronics in this section. This looks like a small piece that's going to hold a light bulb in place in the frame. And we've got some AM screws. We got the BM screws. Looks like we've got some backing, the reflective backing for a light that's going to go in that section, I believe. And let's see, these are probably the windows. You can see the ones that are going to be off. The room lights are already blacked out. And we've got two more lights. Instead of having two lights on one wire, we've got two lights on two wires. And these have the clips with the two pinholes on either one. Is that everything? Yep, that's everything that was in issue number 81. All right, and lastly we have issue number 82. And let's see, first off, we've got more of the screw packets. This is going to be AM screws. Let's see, these look like DP screws. And we got another section of the primary hull, the bottom part. Let's see if I can get this out. This is metal. You can see the windows. Really cool. I love it. And look at the Aztecing. Hopefully you can see that. Let's see. This looks like a section of the windows that are going to go along the sides of the secondary hull, and the room lights that will be off. There's a lot of room lights that are off. Either the ship's not being used, or those are crew members that work a separate shift and they're all sleeping. Let's see. We have a section with escape pods. We got 3 of them, and it looks like windows. Small section. Looks like 2 are on and 3 will be off. Let's see what this is. This is some kind of bracket. I'm thinking this is going to hold them in place. Either the escape pods or the windows, as with this. It's going to hold the escape pods or the windows in place. Let's see, and lastly, looks like the phaser arrays. So you can see the section of the phaser array. It's going to go along the bottom, and it's actually going to go on just like this. And lastly, we've got a reflective back for the windows, most likely. And it looks like, yep, that's everything. That's everything in issue number 82. And that, my friends, was everything that we got in shipment number 21, or issue number 21. We got parts, or packets 79, 80, 81, and 82. And it's been an absolute pleasure to go through this. I've been ecstatic to show this to you. This came in the mail yesterday, and I couldn't wait to get the box open. But like I've done for all the videos so far in this build of the Enterprise D, the first video from the shipment is going to be the complete unboxing, all the instructions. If you guys are curious on what's in any of the shipments, you can go back and I do a total unboxing video. We go through the magazine, we go through the instructions, we go through all the parts so you know everything that's included. The next video that we're going to do is going to be strictly the build. So we're going to get right into it. We're going to start with issue number 79, and we're going to go to the instructions, and I'm not going to go over what's in the shipment, because that's what this video is for. So my friends, thank you so much for watching. I'm ecstatic to start this build up again, and I'll talk to you soon when we do the build video, which is coming up really soon.